Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 30 of the Queen City Yarn Dyeing to Knit podcast. This is a podcast about knitting and yarn dyeing and crochet and spinning and weaving and just my adventures with all of the crafty things. Today is Friday, July the 10th. It's been almost 2 months since I recorded a podcast. Things have just been busy, kids home and all of the things. But I had some time this afternoon and I wanted to record a podcast. I have a ton of finished objects to show you, quite a few works in progress, and a little bit of Queen City Yarn chat. I do not actually have the yarn with me. Janice has the yarn, so I won't have things to show. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's start off with where you can find me. On Instagram, I'm Kristen C. Also Queen City Yarn on Instagram. And on Ravelry, I'm Kristen. You can find all of my designs on Ravelry as Kristen Clement Designs. Also, my designs are available at queencityyarn.com for download there. And let's see, we have a Ravelry podcast group called Queen City Yarn, and you can find all of the hand-dyed yarn at queencityyarn.com. Okay, I think I did all the things. Like I said, it's been 2 months. I was doing so good every 2 weeks, and then life. And 2 months later, here I am. But I am wearing a new sweater, if that makes it any better. This is the Ranunculus Sweater, and I can't think of the designer's name. This is the second one that I've knit. The first one I knit, I held a single yarn and a mohair together that my friend Lori had given me left over from hers, and I really loved it. And then for my birthday this year, my mom gave me some Quince & Company Kestrel, which is a linen yarn, and I just really love how it turned out. So I knit it. It's about this long. I don't know. I haven't blocked it or anything yet. I just finished it, but it doesn't really need blocking, I don't think. And then I just did, about 3/4 length sleeves. I just used all of the yarn that I had. I used 9 skeins total, and I love the result. I was inspired to knit this sweater out of Kestrel by Caitlin from the Caddy Jacks Knits podcast, and I believe hers maybe is even the same color. So anyway, that's this finished object. I did make a list of finished objects. Let's see. I have another sweater, my Eddie sweater. I believe this is an Isabel Kramer pattern. This is finished. I have to weave the ends in. It is blocked and everything though. It is a V-neck sweater, V-neck tee, and I really love the fit of it. I just have to weave the ends in. And I did not do, there was a texture pattern in stripes across it. I didn't do that. I didn't think it would show so well with this yarn. This is a silk yarn that my mom gave me for my birthday last year. And I actually do have the tag for the yarn. This is Ella Ray Rustic Silk is what I used for this one. Colorway 15. Lavender Bay, but it is a 100% silk yarn, so the drape is just beautiful. It's very flowy, and I love it. I just need to weave the ends in so I can start wearing it. So I finished that one also. I also finished my Scotch Broom tee, which I'll have to put a picture in because Janice actually has it from when we did the ZK at home thing. I wore it the first day for that, and I think she wore it some the second day during the virtual shopping. But she still has that, so I'll post a little picture, put a little picture in. But I absolutely love the way this turned out, the Scotch Broom. First of all, it was so much fun to knit. The lace at the top was interesting and exciting to see it kind of come together. It was just really cool. And then after you did the lace at the top, on the front and the back, you joined and knit the body and the round, and then there was a split hem. And no sleeve finishing or anything like that to do. When you were done, you were done. Just had to seam up the shoulders. And I measured, I wore it over a linen dress that I have. And so what I did was I measured the length between the straps on my shoulders to see how wide I wanted the neckline to be, and then I just seamed up on the shoulders, seamed up the sleeves that way from those measurements, and it worked out really well. So I'm very, very happy with that one. For the Scotch Broom Tee, I used Queen City yarn in our Noda sock, and I used our Mountain Orchard colorway, which just knit up beautifully. And I did the lace, the top portion of the sweater, I just used one skein. I didn't alternate. But then once I got into the body where I was just doing the stockinette, then I was alternating using the helical knitting method, which is my favorite method of alternating skeins for hand-dyed yarn. So those are all of the garments that I finished. I also finished my Air Hugs wrap, which was a test knit from my friend Shayna. She designed this wrap with Queen City Yarn, our Biddleville DK, and I used the colorways Mint to Be and Boat Drinks. I also do not have that one with me, so I'll put a picture in as well. But it's a really fun two-color DK project, and it went really quickly. It was an easy project to knit, and I really enjoyed it. There's also an Air Hugs cowl that just uses one skein of DK weight yarn, and also it was designed in our Biddleville DK, and those were released in June, just before the Zombie Knitpocalypse ZK at Home retreat. That was going to be a release for the retreat, and Shayna was going to come in the booth and help people pick out yarn. She still did that virtually though, and so anyway, that's another fun project that I finished. I have a few other finished projects. So let's see, I finished my monster cowl using my Kirby Werby bulky yarn that Janice sent me as a pick-me-up when COVID first took the kids out of school. And this is the Monster Cowl by my friend Julie, and it's a really fun project to knit. I haven't blocked it yet, and I just used one skein of the Kirby Werby bulky. This is her Cooler Than a Pack of Peppermints colorway, and you can see here, it's like the double the stripes here is where I joined them. I joined them in this black stripe, and I just did Kitchener stitch, and it worked out really well because I had done a provisional cast on. So anyway, this is done. I just need to block it. Cherie, Kirby Werby, used, I believe, 2 skeins in hers, and so hers is super long, but I really like this one. It's just enough, and it's going to be nice and warm because it's bulky, and it will squish up under a coat. It will definitely relax some with blocking, so I think it'll get a little bit bigger. But yeah, so that's done, and I really love that too. I have a pair of socks, shorty socks finished. These are I Choose to Be a Llamacorn socks that I was knitting with my leftovers from the February Queen City Yarn Studio Series yarn, club yarn, and the colorway was I Choose to Be a Llamacorn, and that's this main color here. And that was on a bronze Selena fingering weight base. And then the heels and toes I used grape. Just a little mini skein of our Noda sock in the colorway grape. So I really love how these turned out, and they're for me. I did a double gusset heel on these. You do the heel flap, and then after you do your heel turn, the double gusset heel, which is what I did there because they fit me the best. And I have a hat that I finished that you never even saw. This is the Boss Beanie. This was designed by my friend Willie of Willy Nilly Knits, and you can find him on Instagram. He also has a YouTube channel. He also teaches knitting, which is really cool, and his wife, the Silken Spider, is a dyer, which is cool. But this is a hat that he designed for Darn Good Yarn, and they did a knit along and had kits. I used stash yarn, and this is some Knit Picks Essential Sock in the Shale Multi colorway, which I had picked up years ago to make socks for my husband and didn't become socks. So what I did was I held 2 skeins together and knit this hat. It is a ribbed beanie, very close fitting beanie, but it's super cute. I think if I knit another one, I'd do a little bit longer. I knit it just as the pattern called for, but I do like slouch in my hats. So I might do another one and do it longer. But I think this will make a really great Christmas gift for somebody. I have quite a few men in my life who love hand knit hats, and not all of them love slouchy hand knit hats. So this will be a Christmas gift. This is the Boss Beanie. When I put my project on Ravelry, I couldn't find the pattern in Ravelry, so I noted that he was the designer. And like I said, you can pick up the pattern or the pattern plus yarn from Darn Good Yarn, and that's who he designed it with. So one thing that I did differently, and the pattern didn't call for this, but it's something that I had been wanting to try, is at the top of the hat, instead of cinching it closed where you just take your yarn on a needle and go through all the stitches and pull tight, I Kitchenered it. One of my friends had told me about that, and I wanted to try it. And so I did, and I really like the result. I think it looks really cool with the way the decreases are done on this hat. So, yeah, you don't have that little point for it to come, loose or whatever. But yeah, so I like it. So that's the Boss Beanie. And then I have two more finished objects to show you, and both of them I knit using a new pattern that I designed that I didn't talk about at all on the podcast, and I haven't shown on social media yet. I designed a pattern called the Swift Gift Socks, and the reason why I hadn't shared anything about this pattern is because I was designing it for the June Queen City Yarn Studio Series Club, and this was a pattern that members of the club actually got as a part of their club shipment. They got a download code to download the pattern, and this is a DK weight sock with a heel flap double gusset heel, and so this is it. It's knit out of the yarn for the June Studio Series. It is a kind of Christmas in July themed, and hopefully folks will want to knit up their socks in the month of July. These are very quick to knit, and the kit contained a main color skein, which is this, which we called Good Golly Miss Holly, and then a red skein that we called a Holly Berry. So the names just totally crack me up. But anyway, so it is a DK weight sock with a heel flap and a double gusset heel. And as always, I'm always inspired to use the double gusset heel by my friend Christy of Turtle Girl 76. She's the sock doctor and a good friend of mine, and she's the one that designed the double gusset heel. So I knit the pair out of the club colorway for the pattern, and to work all that out, all the little kinks out of the pattern, and make sure everything worked with the amount of yarn in the mini skein that accompanied the kit. So it's got this little edging at the top in red, the heel flap and heel turn are in red, and then down at the toe there's a little line of red before you really start the toe. And I was inspired to do that from my llama socks. So I really enjoyed doing those little lines. I thought they were super cool. So the Swift Gift Socks is a pattern that is available now on Ravelry, and yeah, so I'm super excited about it. And so I knit this pair. The pattern comes in 3 different sizes. There is a child size, an adult small medium, and then an adult large. So the size that fits me is the adult small medium, and that's these. There's also a link for information on how long to knit the foot of the sock in the pattern if you're knitting them for someone and all you know is their shoe size. So you can kind of gauge how long to knit before you do the toe. And so I wanted to test out the child size of the pattern too. So I knit this pair for my son Ryan, and this is his pair of Swift Gift Socks. And I used some online super sock that I had left over from a pair of socks, I think that I knit for my brother, to be part of his Christmas present or something. I haven't given them to him yet because they're part of a gift. But yeah, so I used the leftovers and I knit these for Ryan, and he really likes them. And they come up tall enough because he likes tall socks. So I went and stole these out of his drawer to show them to you. And I think that is all of the, I think that's all the finished objects. Let me see. Oh no, I have a few to talk about that I don't actually have with me, so let me look here. I knit some ear savers for one of my friends, or crocheted rather, some ear savers for one of my friends. And it's like a little thing that goes behind the head, and it's got, you just attach 2 buttons on either end. It's like a 4-inch piece of fabric with 2 buttons, and then they can attach their mask to that instead of going around the back of the ear, which I think mine gets sore just from running into the post office and stuff. And so I can only imagine what nurses and health professionals, how their ears are feeling. So anyway, she had to go in to work for a few days, and so I whipped up a couple of those for her. And so I'll input a picture of those as well. So the ear savers. I also knit another cowl, We Are In This Together cowl that Janice designed. And I used our colorway called Stand that we have created as a charity colorway to raise money for Campaign Zero and Heal Charlotte. So both of these charities are working to promote social equality and justice. And certainly in light of recent events in our country, we thought that was very important. And so we made a donation last week of $340. We're donating all of the proceeds of the yarn to these 2 charities. And so what we're doing is Queen City Yarn is making a donation with $20 of every skein sold to Campaign Zero. And then Janice and I are matching that donation to Heal Charlotte, which is a local charity that is working to promote equality here in Charlotte. And so yeah, that I'll put a picture of that in as well. And I used the Stand colorway, and I knit up the We're In This Together cowl, and I think it turned out beautifully and really shows how that Stand colorway knits up. So that's another one, and I think those are the only ones that I don't have with me. So lots and lots of finished objects. I mean, I guess that makes sense since it has been, 2 months since I podcasted. But now let's talk about whips. I have lots of things on the needles. Socks. I have 2 tops, 2 garments on the needles, and a hat. And I think that's it. Oh, and a crochet thing, which I'll show you. Have to grab that because I didn't pull that over here. So let's talk about socks first. So I told you that I had just designed the Swift Gift socks for the June Studio Series Club. And for that club, we used a DK weight sock yarn that has nylon in it. And so I knit the medium size for me. I knit the smallest, the child size for my son, and I still have to knit for Caitlin. And I'm knitting the men's large, or the large, adult large size for my husband. And this is, let's see, this is the same yarn that I used for the Studio Series Club to dye that up, the Good Golly Miss Holly. But I dyed this colorway, which is a new colorway. I don't know if it will be going into the shop or not. This is something that I dyed with my husband in mind and his love of camo. It's kind of a mashup between 2 of our current colorways, one of which is Lush and the other is A Walk in the Woods. And so I kind of did a mashup of those 2 colorways and designed this one, and it looks a lot like camo to me. And then I dyed a mini skein in our slate colorway for the, little edging and the heel and this part here at the toe. So I finished the first one, and he really likes it. He did say that he would like for it to be about 1 inch taller for to work for his hunting boots. So if you're knitting the pattern for somebody to wear with their hunting boots, you may want to do the leg 1 inch longer, according to my husband. I have the second one started. I'm working on the leg. These knit up so quickly because they're knit, it's DK weight yarn, so you have so fewer stitches. And I still did write the pattern to be at a pretty dense gauge so they would hold up. They're great for wearing around the house, but they're not house socks in terms of like, when I think of house socks, I think of a looser gauge. These are still a pretty dense, firm gauge, so they will hold up well to wearing over time. So that's the Swift gift socks that I'm making for my husband out of some camo yarn. I have 3 other pairs of socks over here to show you. So let's talk socks. So, and all of these you've seen before. So this is my Lollipop Socks, Attitude Lollipop yarn. My friend Joan dyes this. And the colorway that I'm using for these socks is called Attitude with a mini in Grumpy. So this is the main color, Attitude. Such beautiful self-striping. And the mini in Grumpy, which is a dark gray, and the sock. I don't remember where I was last time I showed this. This is still the first sock. I know I did have it on the needles for the last podcast. I feel like maybe it was just a cuff. But I have knit the shorty cuff, which is about 5 stripes, including the rib, which was only 2 stripes long. I used the mini for the heel flap and heel turn, and then I did the double gusset heel on the bottom, so you can see those decreased lines that will cut my heel, and these are for me. And yeah, just working my way down the foot. I'm not too far off from the toe, a few inches I think. I really love how this is knitting up though. I like these little thin stripes, and the stripe, every other stripe seems like, just about every other stripe seems like it has some speckles in it, which makes it extra fun to knit. So I've got that pair on the needles. I have another pair of self-striping socks on the needles. I really like self-striping socks because I feel like it's easier to see the progress. So the next pair of socks I have on the needles are, oh, my needle double points fell out of my little, do you guys use these little whip minders? I think they're so cute. This one is all coffee themed. And I put it in my coffee themed bag from my friend Jenny of Kitchen Countercrafter. So this yarn is from the Yarn Jar, is the dyer, and the color is called Color Blast. And it is a gray stripe and then this like super neon bright confetti speckle stripe. And I'm pretty much in the same spot with these as I was with those Lollipop yarn socks. So this one, I went even shorter with the rib. The rib is only this little tiny cuff up here. Then I did 2 full stripes before I started the heel flap. And I'm just using the same yarn throughout for these. So I did the heel flap and the heel turn, and then picked up and did the gusset pickup there. I did the double gusset heel. And I'm just working my way down on these as well. These are the socks I've been taken to the pool when I've taken the kids to the pool. I also, it smells like smoke because I had these out at the fire pit with my family over the 4th of July. And so they smell like bonfire too. So yeah, I'm just working on these as well. And slow going, but I'm using a 9-inch circular, so that's why I have this in there. I have my double pointed needles in the same size for doing the heel flap and heel turn and the gusset pickup before I put them back on the 9-inch circular to decrease out those stitches. And then I have one more pair of socks in the needles. I don't even know the last time I knit these. I just saw them when I was gathering things to show. And these are my pink sock blank socks that I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel in. So this is the first one, which is done, and you've seen before. It's just like a regular height mid-calf with a Fish Lips Kiss heel and a very hot pink toe. And I'm working on the second one. Looks like I've done the heel. Oh, I'm working down the foot. These are almost done. It's not too far from the toe, but yeah. Need to get working on these again. I should really make these as a Christmas gift too, so I could have another Christmas gift done. So anyway, working on that. Don't know when I last did, but it's been worked on. This is the rest of the sock blank. I love this sock blank. This is one that I dyed when I first started dyeing, and I just love the way it turned out just in the blank. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think when I'm done with these socks, I'll take the rest of it and just pin it to my bulletin board or something. I think it's just so pretty. The way the speckles splotched out like that, like fireworks almost, in the folds and all. Yeah, but it's knitting up super cool too. You can see where those dark speckled spots are, where it gets darker there. Anyway, sock blank socks are fun. I have the rest of this hot pink yarn down here in the bottom of this bag too. So, those are the socks on the needles. I have 2 garments on the needles and a design. Okay, so the first garment I will talk about is Sierra. This is a pattern by Laura Ayler. Did I print out the picture? I did. So it's a tank top pattern by Laura Ayler, Sierra. And I'm using the yarn that I got as part of my corn skein package. Do I have the tags? I don't. Shoot. It's Noro yarn. I thought for sure I had the tags. Maybe they're in this other bag. No. Okay, so I don't have the tags for it, but it's Noro. What's the yarn base? Kumo, I think, is the name of the base. But it's this really pretty. It's a wool and cotton blend yarn. So I'm this far into the tank. I got quite a bit to go. I was going to knit the pattern in the magazine. Sorry, my son just went to the restroom right over there. I was going to knit the pattern in the magazine, the curved hem top. And I started it, and it had a lace component to it, which was not difficult, but it just wasn't what I needed. I just need simple stockinette, like maybe some decreases right now. So this is what I'm doing. This tank pattern is very easy. I am alternating skeins. This is what the yarn is like in this messy ball. But I really like it. I'm enjoying working with the yarn. It's nice to work with. And I am enjoying this pattern because it's very simple. You started it's bottom up. And I'm making the medium 1 size. And so there's like decreases at 2 points where you're decreasing. It's like a to shape it a little bit. So here's my decrease point, and you can't really see the decreases there. A center double decrease is what it's using. So yeah, front and back in the center is where the decreases are. So I'm excited to get this done. I just have been not working on it that much. Okay, so that's one garment. The other garment I have on the needles is the reason why I haven't been working on that one that much, because I got excited about this one. And so I have been working on this one instead of that one for the most part since I started it. The pattern I'm talking about is the Weekender Light by Andrea Mowry. I've knit 2 of the worsted weight Weekender patterns. So I'm trying to untwist my yarn. It's just like super twisted. So I knit 2 of the Weekender sweaters and love them, wear them to death. And so when Andrea Mowry came out with the Weekender Light, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely knitting that. And the yarn that I'm using is Berry Hill, our Queen City yarn Berry Hill. So the Weekender Light is a fingering weight version of her very popular Weekender sweater. Let's see, I have a picture. This is the Weekender Light. It's Andrea Mowry. And you can get the pattern on Ravelry. that is where I got it. I think she may also have a website too that you can buy them on. But I am using Queen City Yarn, our Berry Hill, which is our exclusive base that we have milled right here in North Carolina. And the colorway that I'm using is Azalea. And I really am enjoying it so much. It's got a split hem, and then you join it in the round and start working in the round. And you actually knit the sweater inside out. And then when you're done, you flip it right side out, and you see this beautiful line of slip stitches that go up the front center and the back center. And I'm doing helical knitting. I did the rib just with one skein. Both rib, the front and the back rib, with the same skein of yarn. And then when I put it in the round, I started using the helical knitting method for alternating skeins, because even though all 4 of my skeins are the same dye lot, I don't want any flashing or anything like that, or bad pooling. As you know, hand-dyed yarn, it's better to alternate, and the helical knitting makes it not a pain in the butt. So, if you have to alternate, I highly recommend using the helical knitting method. And I'm knitting this on size 4s. Yep. So, those are my 2 garments. I have 2 more works in progress. One is the brim of a hat. I am designing a new hat out of our Berry Hill yarn, and I have a skein of special yarn from our friend Amy at the Ross Farm that I'm going to use as well. This is just the first draft hat, which will likely become a Christmas gift or something. And so I have waste yarn after the rib in case I don't like what I do. I can just pull it out without having to pick up a million stitches. But yeah, so this is the brim of the hat. I'm using Berry Hill, and this is our naked colorway, and I've got all kinds of colors down in the bag. So we'll see what happens with the first one. I've got lots of fun things charted out, and I will show you more progress next time. And then the final one, or like the final version, once I get it all worked out, I'll use Berry Hill and that special skein of the Ross Farm. So I have one more project. I have to grab it. It's right here behind the camera in my huge Maryland sheeping wool tote from a few years ago. And this is a crochet blanket that I started. Just started. It's not very... I have my hook hanging off of it. Let's pull that out so I don't lose it. So I'm making a DK weight crochet blanket. It's a granny stripe blanket, and I'm getting better at crochet. I'm getting better at reading the edges. It's been a while since I started this. I just haven't really been working on it, but I really want to. I have a whole bag full of DK weight leftover yarn from different projects. Like this bottom one is leftover from my, what's the name of that cardigan? I did it as a knit-along. Dark and Stormy, I think, was this one. This, beige, gray, grayish color is left over from my Blue Sands cardigan. And I've got lots of DK weight leftovers, and then all blues and teals and grays. And then I also pulled out fingering weight yarn in the same color families because I can hold fingering weight yarn double. And I don't know how... Oh, there's my scale. I've been looking for that. I don't know how far all of this... I don't know how far all of it will go. We'll see. Crochet really eats up yarn. So, yeah, I'll kind of see how far I go and how far that gets me, and then decide if I need more. I'll pull it out of the stash. I have plenty of those colors because I love gray and I love blue and I love teal. So it's represented pretty well in the stash. But I wanted to use yarns that were left over from something else first. So, yeah, that's my crochet blanket. Now, I think that's all the projects I have to talk about. I did want to mention the Queen City Yarn Studio series. That is going to be opening up next Wednesday. The enrollment for the July studio series will open up next week, Wednesday. It will be open from the 15th through the 20th, and you can choose to sign up for a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, or 12-month membership to the club. Each month you get yarn and either pattern recommendations, or like in last month you actually get the pattern. And yeah, I already know what the July shipment is going to be, and it is gorgeous. So I hope you'll join us for that. It's going to be a different base than y'all have seen before from Queen City, and a completely different new dye technique, which was really, really fun. And yeah, so I hope you'll join us for that. Like I said, memberships are open for enrollment from the 15th through the 20th of July. And yeah, I think that's it. Other Queen City news, really just like one humongous thank you to everybody who came and watched our ZK at Home virtual event, and those who supported us during that event. It was a blast. Usually I don't get to go to the retreats. I'm home with my kids, my family, and usually Janice is the one to go and meet all y'all in person at the retreats. And I guess we didn't meet in person, but it was a lot of fun to stand up and chat with Janice about Queen City and and show off all of our yarn and our samples. And then we did the virtual shopping, which was super cool to do, one-on-one or one-on-two appointments with everybody to pick out yarn for your next project or some of the samples that we had shown. And it was just so much fun. So to everybody who joined us there or shopped there, just thank you so much. And you may be able to see in the glass my son doing a little dance move. So anyway, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are working very hard to get everything dyed up and shipped out. We have a few more orders to ship. So yeah, okay. And with that, I will let y'all go. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy your knitting. Until next time, happy knitting. Bye.